Welcome on board first class on the world's largest airplane, the double-decker Airbus A380. We're about to travel around the world on 4 different airlines, all in first class. Along the way, we'll check out luxuries no other plane can offer, from onboard showers to bars to seats that are more like rooms. This A380 World Tour starts now.
I can't believe we get to do this. Hello, jet setters. This is the most epic trip around the world, and you're coming along.
Air travel today is often cramped and uncomfortable. But this airplane was designed to make it better. A wider cabin, 2 full levels, tons of space. This is our love letter to the most comfortable airplane ever to fly.
We're here in London because there's so many airlines that operate the A380 here. There's Emirates and Qatar, Qantas, Singapore, even British Airways, of course. But we're flying today in one of the most epic A380s in the sky. It's Etihad.
After a smooth check-in process, we had to rush to the gate to get a glimpse of the whale we'd call home for 6.5 hours today.
And here it is, the 9-year-old Airbus A380 that's going to take us over to Abu Dhabi today.
The A380 is truly the king of the skies. It is the world's biggest airplane. It can hold up to 800 people, and it's a full double-decker. The plane we're going to be on today holds about 500.
My favorite aspect of the A380 are the creative ways airlines have added amenities to it. Their onboard showers, bars, lounges, all kinds of stuff. But let us know in the comments below, what's your dream amenity on an A380?
But amenities aren't just limited to the air.
We're here for the plane, but let's check out this amazing lounge real quick.
Located downstairs, this lounge may not have any views, but it has plenty of seating. There's also a restaurant with a menu and a buffet. Suzanne opted for an omelet, and I went for the shakshuka. However, if you want views, you'll have to head upstairs.
Why aren't you in the lounge?
Because we're plane spotting.
And we certainly weren't the only ones enjoying these views today.
The time has come to board this bird. We are sitting upstairs in this A380.
Next stop, Abu Dhabi.
And waiting for us on board were absolutely incredible spaces, fit for royalty. I still can't believe this is real.
They don't call this a seat. They don't call this a suite. This is an apartment.
Some pairs of seats, like the ones we picked, have a partition that can be lowered. But partition or not, there's plenty of room for both of us in here. We're looking forward to dining together, but Suzanne also has her own space too. There's even a refrigerator with cold drinks.
So stylish. I'm gonna put some documents in here later.
What documents?
Suzanne's stylish document case is actually the amenity kit. It includes lots of luxuries to keep you comfortable on board and beyond. You get to take this with you when the flight's over. There are even pajamas designed by Armani. Now Suzanne's going to rate all the pajamas we get on this trip with her very own pajama score.
This operator to take you to Abu Dhabi today. Our planned flight time to Abu Dhabi is 6 hours and 15 minutes, and the trip altitude of 37. Relax and enjoy our hospitality and the product services. Thank you.
The A380 is the world's largest commercial airplane. It's as long as 2 blue whales, taller than 5 giraffes, and when fully loaded, it can weigh as much as 92 elephants. It almost seems impossible that it can get off the ground, but it does, and with a kind of gracefulness.
There is nothing like taking off in an A380. You just float. It's like the plane just floats off the runway. It's incredible.
It's time to get really comfortable now. There are headphones to use while on board, and they were pretty good. I had no problem finding plenty of things to watch in the in-flight entertainment. That's something that won't be true on all of the legs of this journey around the world. We received vouchers for free Wi-Fi. Suzanne joined me for a drink. She opted for a mango mojito from the mocktail menu, while I went for a glass of the Bordeaux. While we chat, have a look through these menus. Etihad offers Dine on Demand, which means we can have whatever we want, whenever we want it. Our flight attendant laid out the table for us. It's simply incredible to realize all of this is happening at 37,000 feet in the air. I started with caviar, and Suzanne went for the meze.
Being able to dine together on a plane is just like another level.
Yeah, it certainly makes the whole experience that much more special. And this food looks amazing. It's time for meze and caviar. Let's dig in.
Oh yeah.
And of course, mother of pearl spoon.
A palate cleanser? Why not? I had the beef tenderloin, and it was so tender, but the potato was the real star here. Suzanne went for the lamb shank with aromatic rice and dakous sauce. I opted for a different glass of wine this time. Getting to sit together and eat is one of the things that makes first class on the A380 just so very special. Once we'd finished our lunch and our tray had been cleared, we made our way back to the lounge, which is a space shared among first and business class passengers. The only word I can think to describe the first class lavatories is spa-like. And yes, there is an onboard shower. Meanwhile, back in Suzanne's apartment, the crew had happily provided a turn-down service to completely transform the space into its bedtime mode. But first, she's got some reporting to do.
And now it's time for the Greener Grass pajama score. That's where I'm going to rank every pair of pajamas we get on this trip. The first entry, the Etihad pajamas. They are by Giorgio Armani. Oh, how fancy, right? The fabric is very luxe. They're very soft, very smooth. Fabric's amazing. There's pockets in the pants. I'll say the only downside is it's a little bit masculine looking, a little bit too big on me, even though this is the smallest size. It still qualifies for a 9 out of 10.
Our flight attendant had lowered Suzanne's window shades to make it easier to sleep, but the Etihad eye shade will do the trick.
Now, this is a bed setup you're only going to find on the A380. Like, usually your seat turns into a bed. On this plane, you get your full bed to yourself, separate from your seat, and it's wide and it's comfortable. Luxury in the sky for sure.
And I got some work done, but I never take anything too seriously. We're upstairs in the A380. In addition to 9 first-class apartments like ours, you'll find the residence here. It's a 3-room house on board, and we had the chance to experience it last year, and there's nothing else like it. I'll link to that video in the description below. You'll also find the lounge, which we visited earlier, and the business class cabin upstairs. Economy is located downstairs.
As we get closer to Abu Dhabi here, we decided to have a little snack. And why not make it a pajama party in Jeb's apartment?
I had a fresh salad and a club sandwich. Suzanne went for the world-famous Etihad steak sandwich. We shared a piece of carrot cake.
It's hard to pass up a shower on a plane, but with only 6 hours on board, I think I'm going to save the shower for another flight on this trip. Stand by.
Soon, the lights of the United Arab Emirates came into view, and this unforgettable flight was drawing to a close. Once we're done with all 4 flights, we'll total up what it costs to travel around the world in first class, which means...
You might be wondering what a ticket in Etihad first class costs. Well, it's about $5,000 one way from London to Abu Dhabi. Here at Greener Grass, we always pay for our own plane tickets. We use miles for this particular ticket, 140,000 Etihad guest miles to be specific about it. You can sometimes find Etihad award tickets on American Airlines. It wasn't available for us, so it was kind of a steep redemption, but totally worth the experience.
One of the great things about Etihad First Class is they include a chauffeured transfer anywhere in the United Arab Emirates. We're spending a few days in Dubai, so let's get that car and check out the city.
With about 3.8 million people, 90% of whom are from somewhere else, Dubai is a truly international city, and they do all kinds of things to attract tourists.
When you come to Dubai, it's all about the extremes. Welcome on board the world's tallest observation wheel. This observation wheel is more than twice the height of the London Eye, and the hub and spindles weigh more than 4 A380s. As my friend John Ostrower would say, there's always an aviation angle. We've reached the highest point on this journey. We're 250 meters above the city of Dubai. Beautiful here.
Meanwhile, back on the ground.
Today's video is brought to you by Rocket Money. If you're anything like me, you've got your fair share of subscriptions, maybe a premium app here or a streaming platform there. They all add up. It's just an annoying part of life these days, and you can easily forget about some of them. Well, this is where Rocket Money shines. If you link it to your credit card, your bank account, it'll bring all those recurring charges into one place and put you in charge of deciding which ones you keep and which ones you cancel. I used it to find out I was overpaying for an internet service by $400 a year. I used their negotiation service to bring that price down. It also helped me identify $600 worth of apps that I don't need anymore, and I canceled those. All told, Rocket Money has helped its customers save more than $500 million in unwanted subscriptions. There's even a spending and budget analysis tool that helps you spot trends that you might not even be aware of. To try Rocket Money today and unlock more features with premium, head to rocketmoney.com/Jeb or click the link in the description below. Again, thanks to Rocket Money for sponsoring this video, but for now, let's get back to the airport.
Here at Dubai International, check-in was a breeze, and we were whisked by our own private golf cart to the first-class lounge.
Jeb, you got a little bit of a tan going on compared to last time we were here.
Well, good pickup. Those of you who paid attention to the channel have noticed that we took a little break. We went to the Maldives for a few days, enjoyed some fun in the sun.
There is no first class quite like Emirates first class, and especially on the A380. It is so over the top, you're not gonna believe it, and we're just getting started. We're having some coffee now. Our flight leaves at 3:30 a.m. local time. So we're gonna have a little coffee, fuel up a little bit, because we're not gonna miss a minute. Sleeping, we're dead. We're gonna enjoy every second on the A380.
It's nearly 11 o'clock at night. I just slammed a cup of coffee on my way to try to get a haircut here in the Dubai airport. What a time to be alive. First class passengers are entitled to 15-minute express spa services during their visit to the lounge. Unfortunately, a men's haircut and beard trim not included in those complimentary services. We've come over here to the A concourse because, well, it's the newest, best first class lounge in the Emirates network. So let's head inside and check it out.
This lounge is massive. It's like hard to even call it a lounge, it's so big. But I think we're getting a little hungry, so we might try to go have a snack in the restaurant.
And with a menu like this, there's certainly no shortage of choice. This is your friendly reminder that airport time is completely different from real-world time. So if you want some sushi at 1 a.m., that's no problem. Had a glass of champagne? Sure thing. A cup of tea? Absolutely. The lounge has everything you'd expect. Plenty of seating, a business center, even nap rooms. This place is just gigantic and feels more like your own private airport than a lounge.
It would take 12 minutes to walk all the way across this lounge.
It's even got its own private duty-free shop.
But we decided to head back downstairs and make our way toward our gate.
It's possible to request a buggy or a golf cart like that one to take you to the gate, but we decided to stretch our legs and make it a walk because, well, we've got this 8-hour flight ahead of us. Now, an 8-hour flight with Emirates on an A380 could be anywhere in the world. Stand by to find out where we're headed.
Dubai Airport has a lot going for it. Unfortunately, windows that allow plane spotting is not a strong suit here. They're kind of covered with this pattern so you can't see out, and they're just so far away. There's an A380 sitting right out there, you can't see it. So instead, it's time for the A380 montage.
If you're a fan of the A380, there's nowhere on Earth where you'll see more of them in one place than here in Dubai. Only a handful of airlines are left operating the type, and sadly, Airbus no longer manufactures them because airlines have shifted their focus to smaller, more fuel-efficient planes like the A350 and Boeing 787 Dreamliner. But there's still nothing quite like seeing an A380, even if it's just on the ground.
Emirates operates something like 116 A380s. Etihad, who we just flew by contrast, has like 7. I think you could make an argument that Emirates would not exist without the A380, and the A380 might not exist without Emirates. They're just so inextricably tied together.
The time has finally come for boarding. We're off to, well, wait and see. We finally got a glimpse of the 13-year-old A380 we're about to board, and we're heading upstairs to the very front of the plane. Suzanne's in 2A, and I'll be sitting in 1A. Here on Emirates, you don't even have to wait for snacks. They're already here. And you'll even have drinks in your own personal in-seat minibar. But we didn't wait long for a flight attendant to appear with a glass of champagne. Suzanne started studying the menu, which we'll check out in the air. It's time for some Arabic coffee and pushback. I changed the IFE to my favorite channel, and we made our way out to the runway. By the time we took to the sky, it was almost 4:30 in the morning, and despite her earlier proclamation,
"Sleep and we're dead. We're gonna enjoy every second on the A380."
Suzanne was ready for bed. To be fair, with a bed as nice as this, the crew was more than happy to set up. Sleep is another great way to enjoy this experience too, but first, she owes you a report.
Before I get some sleep, let's talk about the pajama score for Emirates. So it's very loungewear, very comfy. I think the style factor could be a little higher, so I'm gonna go 8 out of 10. Let's talk a little bit about this bed. It's really comfortable, especially this mattress pad. It's like a memory foam. I could kind of use another pillow though. One pillow's a little bit measly, but I think I'm gonna sleep just fine. Night.
Before shutting her eyes, she investigated her amenity kit, which contains products from Bulgari, along with something I've never seen before, a mirror. Now, mine wasn't quite as full. I have to give kudos to Etihad for a much more interesting kit on the last flight. At the front of the cabin, you'll find this fully stocked bar with snacks and drinks. You'll also find 2 tremendous lavatories, but they're not like most aircraft labs. These are shower spas. Now, I booked a shower for just before landing. There are also tons of amenities in here. The floors, they're even heated, and I didn't need to bring my own hairdryer. Back in my seat, there are headphones by Bowers & Wilkins that are much nicer than Etihad's. In-flight service began with an old-fashioned. Now, there's no room in this seat for 2 people to share the space. That was okay since Suzanne wanted to go to sleep. And because Emirates offers dine-on-demand service, she'll choose something from this menu to eat later.
Starting with an amuse-bouche of whipped goat's cheese and smoked duck. Not a bad way to start. That'll be followed, of course, with the caviar, keeping it classy here in Emirates First Class.
This portion of caviar is massive. The tuna tataki was surprisingly fresh and flavorful. Here's your hint about the direction of our travel. The sun's coming up. I've been having a lot of fun learning more about wine from my friends Bee and Pops over at Our Poor Decisions channel. I'll link to them in the description below in case you'd like to learn more too.
The highlight of this meal so far has got to be with 2 hands Shiraz from the Barossa Valley. This is just, it's ambrosia. It's so good. It's time for the main event, the beef. Very tender, great flavor. Now, beef is a pretty easy thing for airlines to prepare, but it's also a very easy thing for airlines to get wrong. And we've got yet another great beef entree.
I'd finally hit a wall too. I asked for my seat to be converted into this bed.
Suzanne mentioned 1 pillow is not enough, so the first class cabin is basically empty. So I snuck across the aisle and grabbed an extra pillow. Wish she had done the same thing, but anyway, she looks like she's sound asleep, and I will be there soon. Okay, well, that was a fantastic nap that I just took. Suzanne is waking up too. I think we're gonna head back to to check out the bar.
Located at the very back of the top deck, this is the kind of space that can only exist on private jets and A380s. There's a flight attendant here serving as a bartender, and there's snacks and seats too. The space has a fun vibe. A flight attendant even whipped out a Polaroid camera to take our picture. After a little time here relaxing, we walked through the business class cabin and back to our seats, where Suzanne was ready for dinner. She had the Thai-style roasted beef salad, and for her main course, she went with the chili garlic prawns. She had the apple tart tatin for dessert. Meanwhile, for me, it was time for the main event.
This is a shower on board an A380.
Again, the A380 is the only place in the sky where something like this can happen. Each passenger can book 30 minutes in here and has access to 5 minutes worth of water. To add to the relaxing spa-like feeling, there's a warm cup of tea and fruit waiting for you when you're done. Just before landing, I asked for the sliders from the movie snacks menu, which is a good opportunity to tell you how good Emirates in-flight entertainment is. It's truly the best in the sky. And speaking of the sky, we're about to leave it. But where are we touching down?
After what can only be described as an incredible flight with Emirates, we've arrived at our next destination,
Welcome to Seoul, South Korea.
So what did our tickets in first class on the Emirates A380 cost us? Emirates only releases one seat in their first class cabin for award tickets, and we got my ticket for 118,000 Emirates miles. Jeb paid cash for his ticket for about $6,800. Emirates first class doesn't come cheap, that's for sure. We have some time to spend here in Seoul, but there's another A380 waiting for us.
We decided we needed to get to the top of this hill.
Why take the cable car when we can take the stairs, right? A little extra exercise on our exploration of Seoul.
This is Namsan Park. It's considered by many to be the most scenic in all of Seoul and offers commanding views across the city.
It's fair to say, we're far away from home.
Whose A380 could be next? Let's head to the airport to continue this journey and find out.
We hopped on a bus that cost about $12 to get us from Seoul all the way out to Incheon Airport.
It's time for our next A380. Today, we're flying with Korean Air in their A380 in first class. It's time to head over to the premium check-in and get this next phase of our journey started.
No pesky lines here. Instead, we took our seats in this comfortable and private room while the Korean Air team checked us into our flight and brought us tea and coffee.
Check-in complete. Now it's immigration security and then the lounge.
But when we realized our airplane had just arrived from Los Angeles, we changed our priorities.
And here it is, the 11-year-old A380 that'll take us to New York today.
Seeing 3 jet bridges move up to this airplane gives a real sense of the scale. In fact, because of the sheer size of the A380, it cannot operate at most airports. They not only require special jet bridges like these, but also larger taxiways and other infrastructure to support the so-called super jumbo. And who remembers seeing this bird back in Dubai?
The Korean Air A380 has 407 seats. That includes 12 first-class seats downstairs up front where we'll be. It's so shocking. The whole upstairs is business class with 94 seats. Are you ready for another flight on the A380?
Am I ever ready for another flight on an A380? Truth is, the A380 is an amazing plane, but I don't care what we're on. Narrow body, wide body, short haul, long haul. I'm happy on any flight, but this is going to be a pretty special one for sure.
Yeah, this is my first time flying Korean, actually.
It's quite something when your first flight with an airline is in first class.
As long as they serve Pepsi.
Oh, come on.
What?
We're leaving at 7:30 on Sunday night, only to land at 7:30 on Sunday night. This is time travel. Because it's a 14-hour flight and a 14-hour time difference, we're landing at the exact same time that we took off.
We decided to make our way upstairs to the lounge. Now, I've often said, never mistake criticism for a lack of gratitude. I mean,
I can't believe we get to do this.
but this lounge is just a little strange. It's so quiet. Usually there's a little music playing or some background noise in a lounge, but that's not the case here. The seating is very nice and private, but there are no views from here. It's worth noting, Korean have announced a revamp of their entire first-class experience, including this lounge. We can't wait to check it out again. We decided to get some lunch in the restaurant. There are plenty of drinks to choose from here on this bar, and even some snacks. There's also a full menu. Suzanne had a cheeseburger. I was saving room for a big dinner in the sky, so went for some asparagus soup, but I was more than happy to help her with her french fries. We received beautiful luggage tags, customized with our names. But then, it was time to head back to our gate.
We are about to board yet another A380 first class. Can you even believe it?
No, I can't. Hard to believe this is real life, and we are grateful to each and every one of you for watching these videos and making this possible.
Yeah, thanks for coming along with us. We have been so excited about this trip. As you can imagine, it took a while to put together, but now that we're here doing it, it's incredible.
Speaking of incredible, it's time for Korean Air. Let's board this bird.
Don't you mean let's board this whale?
Fair point.
Unlike the flight so far, we're sitting downstairs in a cabin that's a lot more open than the others. The seats are very big, and it was nice that Suzanne could join me in here before departing. We had another champagne toast. Our flight was a little delayed due to congestion here in Seoul. I used the time to check out the in-flight entertainment system. Again, Bowers & Wilkins headphones are available. The system's controlled by a remote, and unfortunately, I didn't find too much I really wanted to watch. But that's okay, since it's fitted with external cameras. There's a blanket and pajamas, as well as slippers, waiting for you at your seat. Kind of like seeing those 3 jet bridges pulling up earlier, The scale of the A380 is a little more evident thanks to this open and airy cabin.
We're airborne and beginning our 13 or 14-hour journey over to JFK right now. Well, we placed our orders for food on the ground, and there were plenty of options. Really an impressive menu, to be sure, but I couldn't pass up the Korean menu, so I went all out, at least to start, at least for first meal, for the Korean menu. Wanted to keep it local.
The tray table is so big I couldn't even open it on my own. Our flight attendant had to help out. The amenity kit is made of plastic and has the bare essentials, not much more. The seats do have a partition that you can raise for a bit more privacy. Dinner started with a scallop appetizer, and the beef shank and mushroom salad was intimidating, but I gave it the old college try, and it was tastier than I expected. Suzanne started with the chestnut cream soup, and while she had a green salad, I had lotus root porridge, which I didn't really care for. And before moving on to the main event, a palate cleanser. For her main course, Suzanne had the seared chicken thigh with tomato sauce and gnocchi. When my main course came, I was shocked. Of course, I know the A380 is a big airplane, but I can't believe there's enough room for all these plates and bowls. Candidly, I don't really know what I was eating, but it was all really very good, very fresh. The highlight was the galbi patty, though. I may not have joined the clean plate club, but I still got dessert. Fruit and cheese for me, and Suzanne had a lemon tart, followed by a cup of tea.
Dinner is done. The crew have just lowered the window shade, so I think we're settling in for the rest of the trip. There's no Wi-Fi on board, which is kind of a good thing because I guess I'm looking forward to all the notifications when we land at JFK, but something to note about Korea, no Wi-Fi.
At the front of the cabin, there's a display case with drinks in it, but it was locked during our trip. There's also a lounge upstairs in the very back of the business class cabin, and despite the length of our flight, we never got a chance to check it out. Back downstairs, you'll also find the first class lavatory.
It'll do the trick. Best part, it is a loo with a view, except for right now because it's night.
The lavatory is stocked with nice amenities and even potpourri.
Here they are, the Korean Air pajamas. Looking forward to Suzanne's pajama school.
I think it's very like soft luxe material. I like the monochromatic look to it. I don't really know if beige is my color though, unfortunately, but I do like the style. I like the cute writing on the sleeve and the back of the pajamas. I do wish there's pockets in the pants. It's a solid 8 out of 10.
And with the pajamas scored and our journey over the Pacific continuing, it was time to get into bed. Just as on the other airlines, flight attendants are happy to convert the seat into its nighttime mode.
Really comfortable bed, nice and wide. Plenty of room at the shoulders, plenty of room at the feet, so no complaints there. Let's catch a few Z's.
I enjoyed about 6.5 hours of very restful sleep. But soon enough, the cabin came back to life as flight attendants prepared to serve breakfast about 2 hours before we landed. I have to say, the view from the lavatory is much better in the sunlight. At nearly 7,000 miles, this long-distance flight is a reminder of another incredible feature of the A380, its range. Fully fueled, it can travel even farther, up to 8,200 miles, meaning it could reach New York from Hong Kong without stopping. After last night's Korean dinner, I opted for a Western breakfast. There was yogurt, cereal, a perfectly serviceable omelet, and finally, fruit. Suzanne, on the other hand, went with the Korean option for her last meal on board. It was Korean-style beef rib and cabbage soup, along with the traditional sides. As this leg of our journey is coming to an end, I lowered the partition and watched as New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport came into view, and this whale touched down.
We paid cash for our tickets from Seoul to JFK on Korean Air. We really couldn't find any way to transfer miles or points to the Korean Air program, so our tickets were about $5,000 per person. That's our most expensive segment because we were able to use miles on all the other flights.
It is so great to be back in the United States. That was an epic trip around the world.
Jeb, this video started in London.
Yeah, about that. Let me take you back in time.
We weren't laughing 2 weeks ago.
We're in Dallas, Texas right now because British Airways operates the A380 from here to London. Unfortunately, that flight just canceled, so our plans have been completely transformed. Now we're flying from here to Atlanta to pick up a British Airways 777.
I probably don't have to tell you how excited we were for this trip. I mean, A380s around the world, that's the top. It doesn't get better than that. So to have our trip start off this way is a huge, huge bummer.
Our last-minute flight to Atlanta was booked into economy, and looks like they forgot the window in my window seat.
What a start.
Suzanne is right, it is a bummer. Now, the fact of the matter is we booked these flights with miles. The good news about that is that the prices would be astronomical, absolutely out of this world if we paid cash. The bad news, though, is when things don't go quite right, as they are right now, we can't be as flexible, especially finding another two seats on the day of our trip. So here we are in Atlanta.
A first-class ticket departing Atlanta on British Airways gets you access to the club. And also a business class ticket for that matter. This is really the only club here. And you know, it's not really a club you want to be a member of, I'm just gonna say. It's pretty depressing, pretty sad in there, but you gotta understand that British Airways doesn't have a gigantic operation here, so I guess it makes sense they use this type of lounge. But it's kind of not the best way to kick off a first class flight, unfortunately. So let's get to the flight.
We boarded and made our way through business class to our seats. The seats are not as open as Korean, but are also not quite as closed off as Etihad or Emirates. Unlike an A380, there's no lounge space, shower, or bar. There's just not enough room on a 777, but the seat itself is tremendous. We settled in exploring the amenity kits and menus, both of which we'll do again in the air with you. There was time for champagne before we left Atlanta behind on our way to London. The screen is large and bright, but honestly, the flight was just too short to really use it. The amenity kit was well made and stocked full. Despite turbulence, service began with a gin and tonic. Wi-Fi was free in first class. The best part of this seat has to be the fact that Suzanne was able to join me.
It's time for the pajama score. Now these are from Temperley, London, and I think they have a nice style to them with this nice kind of silk collar. The only downside is there's no pockets in the pants, but it's still a solid 8 out of 10.
When it comes to dinner, this menu is really impressive. It would be easy for an airline to skimp on the meals they serve from an outstation like Atlanta, but British Airways definitely doesn't. We started with a beetroot tartare. I had a glass of the burgundy. Suzanne chose the blue crab salad with quail egg for her starter. I went for the falafel with pickled vegetables.
I've selected a vegetarian pumpkin curry with black rice. Smells really good.
And I'm having the duck.
Which is prepared perfectly. How can they do this on a plane?
Count me in.
It was really delicious. And for dessert, pecan tart and chocolate mousse. Flights from the U.S. East Coast to London are short, so we asked that our beds be made up. And about 4 hours later, I was up.
These transatlantic flights are just too short. That said, the menu looks impressive. I think going for the full English.
Got about an hour and a half to landing, so just enjoy breakfast, and here we go.
People often dismiss breakfasts on airplanes as throwaway meals for airlines, but this is proof that if they wanted to, they can make great breakfast. And soon, we were preparing to land. But before we touch down, let's give the Jeb Score Awards for this trip around the world. We'll name the top airline in each Jeb Score category. But first, with 9 out of 10 points, the Pajama Score Award goes to Etihad's. The Lounge Award goes to Emirates. There's just nothing else in the world quite like this. The best seat of the trip, that goes to Etihad. The thing is massive and so well designed. The Top Food Award, that goes to Korean. We were so impressed with how they highlighted their unique cuisine. The In-Flight Entertainment Award has to go to Emirates. Their system is the world's best right now. And finally, the Service Award goes to British Airways. Our crew on this flight were just head and shoulders the best we had. How much is a British Airways first class ticket? Well, from Dallas to London, it'll cost you about $5,888. But we didn't pay that. Instead, we each used 85,000 American Airlines AAdvantage miles for this flight.
So when you add that all up, that's over $22,000 a ticket for our first class trip around the world.
Thank goodness for miles and points. Between now and the next time, see you in the sky.
I was today years old when I found out that the London Heathrow runway lights are in a horse pasture. The more you know.
Best boarding music.
Well, we've made it to... Where are we?
Let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit.
This is our soul exploration. Pretty good. Soul exploration. Get it?
I don't get it. Soul exploration? I don't get it.
It's like we're exploring soul. Soul
So
exploration.
instead of exploration, you're saying soul exploration, but soul doesn't really fit into exploration. Like there's no...
How about lunch?
Okay.
You want to?
I think you need some lunch.
We are so grateful to each and every one of you for watching these videos.
And this
Music is kind of a lot.